All right, so something we hear pretty frequently here at the Roberts Insurance Group is folks who are looking over their auto insurance and they're not quite sure what everything means. So, lucky for you, today we're going to be diving into the individual coverages as well as the limits that are going to be listed on your policy to help you decipher that the next time you're reviewing that. So, number one is going to be liability insurance. So, there's two different options for this coverage. Here in the state of Georgia, there's what's called combined single limit coverage, and then there's what's called split limit coverage. So combined single limit means that there's just one limit to the policy. It doesn't matter what, and it doesn't matter exactly what happens as a result of that accident. If let's say there's an accident and there's $100,000 of property damage and there's $100,000 of bodily injury that you're at fault for. As long as you have more than $200,000 of combined single limit coverage, you're going to be good. The alternative to that is what's called split limit coverage. Split limit coverage, it just breaks down the coverage individually and there's going to be three numbers listed there on your policy. The first number is bodily injury per person. The second is bodily injury in any one accident. And the third is going to be property damage liability. So the first is number there, that's how much your insurance company will pay out per person if you're at fault for bodily injury in any one accident. Number two is the maximum they would pay for any bodily injury in any one accident. So if there's multiple people hurt, that sort of thing. Number three is going to be the property damage liability. So that's how much they would pay to fix or replace someone else's vehicle. So for this coverage, we typically recommend at least $300,000 in combined single limit coverage, or $100,000, $300,000, $100,000 for split limit coverage. Now, another coverage that you're probably looking at is going to be uninsured motorist coverage. This works the exact same way as liability, except this coverage is for you if you are injured or your vehicle's damaged by someone who doesn't have insurance or by someone who doesn't have enough insurance. So there's going to be two different types of coverages here. In addition to the combined single limit or split limit coverage, there's two different coverages. One is called add-on coverage and the other one is called reduced coverage. Add-on coverage means that your uninsured motorist limits are going to add on to anything that you're able to recover from the at-fault driver. Reduced coverage, it means that your limits on your policy will be reduced by anything you're able to recover from the at-fault party. So we recommend having, again, at least $100,000, $300,000 for split limit coverage and make that add-on, and then add on $300,000 uninsured motorist coverage if you have a combined single limit policy. Moving on to medical payments coverage. Medical payments coverage is that is actually for you if you're injured in an accident. It's there to help supplement your major medical health plan. So that way you're not having to pay for any co-pays, any out-of-pocket costs, any costs to meet your deductible, that sort of thing. So typically folks will carry anywhere from $2,000 of coverage to maybe $10,000 of coverage on their policy. A typical sweet spot here in Georgia is about $5,000 of coverage. So that's pretty common, that's something that we would recommend as well. Moving on, so the next would be collision coverage and comprehensive coverage. Both of these coverages on your policy, the number you see listed there, that's going to be your deductible. Now, comprehensive, that is going to be your deductible if there's damage to your vehicle, more or less, that's outside of your control. So some common claims here are going to be like if your car gets stolen, if there's any weather damage, if a tree falls on your car, if you hit an animal, that sort of thing. Kind of those acts of God or things that are not your control, they're not another driver's, they're outside of your control and they're not another driver's fault. And then collision, that is going to be the deductible you're responsible for if it's if you're at fault for the damage to your vehicle. So whether you cause an accident on the roadway, if you back into a light pole, whatever the case might be, if you're at fault for the damage, you're going to be subject to your collision deductible. Moving on, so the next one would be rental car reimbursement. Typically, you're going to see two numbers listed here. The first number is going to be how much your insurance company will pay per day that you have a rental reimbursement claim. And then the second number is going to be the maximum they will pay as a result of any one claim. So this coverage kicks in if your vehicle's in the shop for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks while during a covered claim. It pays for the cost of a rental vehicle. So typically, the first number might be $50 and the second number might be $1,500. That just means that they'll pay up to $50 a day for a rental vehicle, up to a maximum of $1,500 in any one claim. And then the last coverage that we're going to talk about is going to be emergency roadside service. Now, many carriers don't even list anything on their policy. You would actually have to ask your agent or dive deep into your policy documents to figure this out. But many carriers do will list a number on the declarations page, and if they do, that number is going to either be number one, the maximum mileage that they will pay for any one tow. So it might be like, let's say 15, and that would be 15 miles that they would pay to have your car towed. Anything over that, you would be charged extra for. You'd be billed directly. And then number two, it could be a dollar amount, so maybe like $100, meaning that is the maximum that they will pay for any one tow. So I hope this helps. I know auto insurance here in Georgia can get confusing, especially with everything else going on in the world and in your life today. So we're just here to make everything easier for you. If you've learned something today, if there's still questions you might have, if you want a second opinion on your coverage or on the premium you're paying, we would love to help you out. We've helped thousands of Georgians throughout the state with their auto insurance find a better value in both their coverage and the price that they're paying. So I'm very confident we can do that for you as well. Give us a call to Roberts Insurance Group or reach out to us here online, 678-250-8133.